Hello and welcome back to Bossing English with Mr. F. In an earlier video I did talk about this Lady Macbeth extract question. Now this is a theme question, so we can be quite broad and we can think about ambition in terms of Lady Macbeth, Macbeth elsewhere, although here obviously our focus is Lady Macbeth. One thing I didn't say, which was a bit daft, was this is a soliloquy. And these are really great in terms of the dramatic effect that they have, because they show us thinking in real time on stage, and that's really important. We get to see inside Lady Macbeth's head and see what a Machiavellian person she is, and how she plots and plans to help her husband here. So really, the fact that we can actually see thought processes happening, listen in, gives us a privileged position as an audience to experience that. And that's something to think about if you get one from Macbeth, a soliloquy from Macbeth, of which there are many. This is showing us thought processes on stage, allowing us kind of intimate insight into the characters' motivations and thought processes, and sometimes it's an inner dialogue going on, and that's what makes it dramatic. They might be asking themselves questions. If you look at this one down here, there's moments when he seems to interrupt himself and seems to be having kind of an interesting question. And certainly here in this aside, in the question I'm going to look at later, we get this kind of these rhetorical questions, and he's having a kind of back and forth Q&A with himself. It's almost like good cop, bad cop, the angel and the devil on his shoulders, trying to argue the pros and cons of his actions. And we get to, the audience is in a privileged position to be able to hear something that no one else can, because this is very similar to a soliloquy in that it's an aside that's really meant for our ears only. So if you get a question like this, this is also a kind of a mixture of character and theme. Explore how Shakespeare presents the attitudes of these two characters towards the supernatural. So we get the theme here, but we get these two characters. The one thing I would say is, whenever you get two characters talking in an extract, who dominates? Here, Banquo says very little, Macbeth says an awful lot, and already but Banquo, the extract starts here, so we're kind of being foregrounded by the examiners in a way, but it may be Shakespeare, because this is the order in which this conversation happens. We get the scepticism of Banquo being kind of put first, and maybe we could even think about it as that like prioritised question mark by Shakespeare in his attitude to the supernatural. And then we get the kind of more less sceptical, shall we say, and more gullible, or wanting to believe anyway, desirous of belief in the supernatural, because it suits his purpose or his ambition, coming second. And I think that order of first leading with scepticism and then following it with kind of what we might think of as more gullible or less rational approach. And Shakespeare was a Renaissance man. If we're thinking about context, and we always want to think about AO3 for those 6 marks, we might think about rationality in the Renaissance age. What was, Shakespeare was the archetypal Renaissance man. Oops, look at that, I made a mess of that. Wow, that's annoying, isn't it? Technology. He's the archetypal Renaissance man, and I feel that he's more likely to be sceptical and less gullible. Of course, he's using witches and witchcraft in the supernatural because James I was interested in witchcraft, wrote his demonology treatise, and maybe we can see that makes just good business sense to give the royal patron what he wants in his drama. Okay, so just some little tips there about who speaks most and the order in which kind of different ideas appear. Here, for example, Lady Macbeth and Macbeth, often one or the other dominates the dialogue. This is a dialogue, so I want to think about that. Who dominates the dialogue? Think about that, and that allows you to make a nice structural point. Hopefully that was helpful. Do something good to the like button. Make yourself acquainted with the subscribe button, and I will see you soon for something else. Bye for now.